Let's bring in Trey Gowdy, Fox News contributor and former South Carolina congressman, for more on this. I know that you're just a simple country lawyer, Trey, but what do you make of what's going on and what now is the biggest legal stage in America?
Yeah, I would say a couple of things. You know, cameras aren't allowed at all in federal court, and for the most part, we have a lot of confidence in the outcome. So I would not conflate public with the presence of cameras. This trial is going to be public. Anyone who wants to go watch it can. That's a separate issue from whether or not to allow cameras. And I can tell you the judge is not worried about the American people. He's not even primarily worried about the defendant. He's worried about the jury. He wants to protect the anonymity of the jury. And can you trust the television camera operators to protect those 12 people and their anonymity? The other thing I would say to Sandra is stop trying to figure out the mind of someone who is capable of doing what Tyler Robinson did. You will never be able to understand the mind of someone who is capable of scalding their children to death, of drowning their children, of bludgeoning an elderly couple to death, all of which I saw in my career. Be mindful of this, though. That little smirk you see on Tyler Robinson's face, you may see it again in the penalty phase of a death penalty trial where the absence of remorse is relevant. It's not relevant in the guilt phase, but in the sentencing phase, you can show that little smirk to the jury, and I guarantee you the jury's reaction will be the same as yours, and it won't be good for Tyler Robinson.
Wow, yeah, just incredibly difficult for all of us who are taking that in. It's happening. We've got the video playing there. Obviously, we don't have a view in the courtroom right now. But Trey, take us through what may be happening right now. We're all sort of waiting for the cameras to open back up in the room when the judge is allowed to do so. I mean, this is the first time, I reiterate, that we are able to see him in that courtroom, Trey. And this is a big moment for the country who remembers that day all too well 3 months ago, that heinous, heinous murder that played out before people live there on the scene, and for all of us who learned in the minutes and hours that followed.
Yeah, and that's the exact same guy you're seeing right now. And you can put him in whatever shirt you want to put him in, and you can put him in whatever suit you want to put him in, and you can keep the leg irons or you can take them off. But that's the exact same guy you're watching right now, is the one that shot Charlie Kirk from a couple hundred yards because he happened to disagree with his political beliefs. That's the same guy sitting in between his defense attorneys right now. And that's what the prosecutor is going to have to convince the jury. I think they're going to have a really easy job. What the judge is trying to do, and I don't want to depart from my colleagues, but if you have a security plan for the courtroom, why would you make it public? I mean, honestly, isn't that counterintuitive to have a security plan and then publicize it? I want the trial to be public because that's what Erica Kirk wants, and I defer to the victim and their family, but the security plan itself, it should not be public.
Yeah, well, that's what the judge is deciding right now in terms of what could be released from the audio transcription and the written transcription. I mean, in terms of, you know, the emotion and the reaction to the smirk that we saw just a little while ago. I mean, the things that the Turning Point USA employees, the Turning Point USA family, Erica Kirk and her family are going through, I mean, are really just incredible because every day they are facing threats. They're facing death threats. They're facing threats of violence. I mean, Erica Kirk is even keeping the location of Charlie's gravesite private. And here's the reason why she says that. Listen here.
We will be building the most beautiful memorial for my husband at Turning Point USA, and it will be for the world to see. But can I have one thing? Can my babies have one thing where we hold it sacred, where my husband is laid to rest, where I don't have to be worried about some secular revolutionary coming and destroying my husband's grave while my daughter is sitting there praying? One thing.
You know, I don't know any other court case that I can think of where you see that the level of rhetoric and the threats of violence going on as this one has brought forward.
Yeah, John, my heart continues to go out for the victims of crime. They're the ones who are lost in this. And Charlie Kirk, you don't see his image in the courtroom, and you actually don't see his family and his friends in the courtroom. It's all about the defendant. You know, you played a clip earlier on where Erica Kirk was almost crying out for someone to explain to her what is going to happen. And I made a note to myself, as soon as I get off this show, I'm going to go through mutual friends and say, you can call anytime you want. Call Turley, call McCarthy, call me, call anyone, and we will demystify this system. But what really has her bothered is what has me bothered, John. People have figured out how to monetize fear and anger, and now they have monetized insanity. Some of the things that that young mother has to put up with that are being perpetrated by people who make money off of podcasts by spewing insanity, you are re-victimizing someone who's already lost her husband and the father of her children. I hope to hell you're proud of yourself for making money off of that widow's grief by perpetrating some of the most outlandish frauds I've ever heard in my life. Congratulations, you figured out how to get really rich, causing additional grief and harm to people like her.
Yeah, we pray for her and we pray for her children. They have been through so much, Trey.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.